You want to learn about social networks. Great. But what are social networks? If we're going to start out a class in undergraduate social networks, we have to first identify what a social network is. It's really simple. I mean, really simple. There's nothing more to a social network than this. Things that communicate and the communication itself. Two things. Now, those things that communicate go by different names. They can be called nodes. They can be called vertices. They have other names too. Sometimes we call them people. We can call them things other than people. That's a complication though. Really, all these things are things that communicate. Most often we'll call them nodes or vertices. And then between these nodes or vertices, these things that communicate, there's the communication itself. Now that can be called an edge, it can be called a line. Most often we'll call it a tie. It could be called a channel. That's a complication. They have different names in different disciplines for what that communication is. Sometimes depending on what's being communicated, but that's the only other thing that really matters in a social network, the communication itself. Things that communicate and communications. It's all you need to know about social network analysis. Everything else is elaboration. Now, clearly, I'm teaching an entire semester's worth about social networks, so there's going to be a lot of elaboration. If we want to use social networks to understand things that we care about, like diseases, like politics, like about religion, like about the fall of nations, about the formation of charities, all these things require us to study lots of nodes and lots of ties, and looking for patterns in that is then what brings our complication in. But at base, whenever you find yourself saying, why am I studying this? What am I trying to learn? Remember, all social networks are things that communicate and communications. Two things at the basis of every social network.